Auston Matthews' contract will be up in 2 years. And
going to
by
Arizona.
that point,
Arizona.
sorry?
He's going to go to Arizona to play in 5,000.
Yeah, to play in a 5,000 seat arena. Yeah, can you imagine?
Well, that's why I sort of bring this up, because I think we all, when he came into the league, there was lots of people who said, when he gets an opportunity, he'll go back to Arizona at some point in his career. Will he go back there in a 5,000 seat dump with no prospect of a bigger arena? How long is it going to take to build an arena?
Well, if there's no prospect for a new arena, by the time Auston Matthews is able to sign, they aren't there, Bob.
Yeah,
well, that's the reality. They aren't there. So
they aren't in Arizona.
No,
correct.
No way.
They shouldn't have been in Arizona in the first place, and there have been 5 opportunities since then to get them out of there, and the commissioner has done nothing about it.
Oh. So we got Rogers mad at us. We got the commissioner mad at us. We're doing great today. We're doing really well.
Well, I don't give a damn. Either way. So, well, what do you do with Auston Matthews? And what kind of money does Auston Matthews get? Because, I've seen the projections on the cap for the next, 4 or 5 years. And I mean, they're not huge increases. Jaffe, you're nodding your head, but they are a little increases.
There's increases. I don't, what is it? 2 or 3 years? There's potential for
2 years, 2024.
Yeah. Like, was it 10 million, 8 to 10 million? They're saying, okay. So it, by hockey standards, Bob, that's pretty big, especially considering, relatively speaking, what we've seen the last couple.
I get it.
Auston, if you really want to play it out, here's Arizona's not any good. They draft Connor Bedard. They get a new rink approved by the end of next year. And then all of a sudden they start turning the corner and watch out. Then they make a big push for Auston. So all of a sudden he goes back there. I'm being facetious. I think Auston stays with Toronto. What's his numbers? I think it's going to be, it's go, we saw McDavid a few years ago at over 12. We see McKinnon at his new deal coming up. He's
over 12.
Yeah, he's probably, with the cap going up, he's 13 to 14 staying in Toronto. I mean, that's what it, maybe
keep going.
It's giving thumbs up. I mean, 15, is he 15 million? Okay, so to become, but he exceeds what those 2 previous contracts are. So if you're multiplying it out, you're saying 2.5 million more a year, 15 times 8. That's where he's at.
Wow. The only thing I would throw out there, and I agree, Billy, chances for me, he'll, if it's today, I would say he stays in Toronto, but New York, LA, I mean, he likes that, right? I mean, he wants to be the guy. He's that new wave athlete, if you will, loves that scene. He's buddies with some stars, the whole, we
say that, Millsy, we say that, and they have to have the cap space.
No, that's right. And
hold on, let me be the devil's advocate,
absolutely.
Greg. Let me be the devil's advocate. What bigger hockey market, because he's a hockey player still, what bigger hockey market in North America is bigger than Toronto? And the answer is nobody. Nobody's bigger. The Rangers aren't bigger than the Maple Leafs.
Agreed.
The LA's not bigger than the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are bigger than anybody. The only one that comes close is Montreal, and Montreal's in a rebuild, so they're not going to worry about it. But that's, dollar wise, every aspect. This Toronto's Mecca.
Yeah, and as well, now they've got good management and a real good hockey team. So that changes everything as well.
Don't get Bob started on management, okay?
From years past. But, they got a good hockey team. Let's be honest. They're going to be a good hockey team for a while here, too, with what they've got. I still think they need a defenseman unless Morgan Riley can take another step. But that's another issue. But, I'm just putting it out there as an American player, who's from America. If there were a chance he was going to leave Toronto, if there was a chance, I don't think it's Arizona at all. I really believe it would be an LA or New York situation. That's what I'm saying. Just because, why not? It's LA, man. He's a young guy and he's an American guy, and it's LA, and he's from the South to begin with. So that's all I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. chances are, if the Leafs continue to win the way we all think they can, then yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he stay?
Just thinking about it, whatever, if you want to look a couple of years down the road, again, having to have the space, that's huge. If we're thinking 15 million, right? What big American market in a couple of years could end up having multiple high draft picks playing in their lineup that are really good, could be the worst team in the league this year, could get Connor Bedard, and will have the cap space in 3 years? Chicago, because they won't have the Taves, they won't have the Kane contract. They're looking for re-identifying themselves as an organization. Again, we're absolutely, what we're doing right here is what I always say to the guys in the Boston area when I'm doing radio, the old spitball and sports radio. You just throw this stuff out there. But could Chicago in a few years have the money, Millsy, to your point about and by the way, that is when they're good, and having been, I'm a native Chicagoan, but also we all four of us have been around. We saw Chicago and how amazing that market was when they were back at top again. I mean, you want to talk about players living like kings there on and off the ice? They were. I'm talking about, financially, they were doing very well there.
I played there, Billy, and I hear you.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable market. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple things that come to bear here. I mean, number one, what we don't know is where Auston Matthews wants to play. And if somebody offers him the right amount of money, I mean, the Rangers are a very good young team. That may be appealing to him. New York may be exciting for him. LA is not far from Phoenix. Sunshine, blue skies. We all know that one. But there's one other contingency here, and that is who's the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs on that day? Because this general manager, I do not think would let him go.
Right.
But would a new general manager coming in have a different opinion?